If you woke up tomorrow and you loved your body, how would you behave differently? How would that change your life? If you could feel completely at peace with all your food choices, how would that feel for you? The Goddess Revolution is a handbook for any woman who's ever struggled to understand her relationship with food. For any woman who's felt held back because of her body, or cried in a shop changing room, or felt powerless around food. All women are born goddesses, but along the way we've been made to feel like we're not the ones holding the power. Somewhere along the way we stopped trusting in the wisdom of our bodies. We became disconnected and we stopped giving them the love and respect that they really deserve. Food is not meant to be the enemy. Food is there to support us, to nourish us, to fuel us so we can go out and live our most fulfilled and soulful lives.
So hi everyone, thanks so much for watching. I'm Sairah, the creator of Turn Up the Love, mentor in mindfulness and emotional eating recovery coach. And today you're in for a real treat because joining me is Hay House UK's youngest published author, the goddess of the Goddess Revolution, the radiant and wonderful Mel Wells.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so good to be here. We've been meaning to connect forever, so this is really, really cool.
Yes, we have. It really has felt like forever, and I know we've chatted for almost a couple years now and just back and forth, so it's truly a blessing to be here live with you today. So thank you so much for being here and taking the time. I really, really appreciate it.
Anytime for you, my darling.
So Mel is someone I've admired for quite some time, and I truly feel is at the tipping point of her career. Not only has she written an incredible new book, The Goddess Revolution, which we're going to be talking about today, she has also helped hundreds of women through her online academy and private coaching sessions at melwells.com. She's appeared in various women's magazines and has even worked with celebrities, actresses, and reality stars. She has even hosted multiple goddess retreats, including the UK and Bali, which are mainly centered around self-care. And with the launch of her new book, I have a feeling this is only the beginning for you, isn't it, honey?
Oh, thank you. I think so. I think it is. I think there's definitely a revolution in the air. And that's not just me and my stuff. That is generally, I feel like there's a huge movement happening right now where women are recognizing that diets are not working. They are turning to developing these new lifestyles and really acknowledging body positivity. And I really think that is a huge movement at the moment. So I do think things are only going to get more and more, these conversations are going to keep happening more and more.
Exactly. It really is, and I feel the exact same shift. And you know, the more women I talk to, they are feeling very fed up and frustrated with their go-to rituals and ways, and it's very positive, the change. So I think, you know, someone like you and I have really come in at the right time to help save women and get them towards their dream bodies and their dream goals of who they want to be inside, right? So totally glad that you relate with me there. So what I actually love most about you, Mel, is I feel like you can genuinely come from a place of love and understanding. I mean, I feel like you truly get and feel what the goddesses that you work with are experiencing, and you know firsthand what it's like to struggle with food and the pressure behind having the perfect body image, right? So yeah, so now I know it wasn't always easy for you. And I know, like me, you've also fought some really hard battles, and you mainly these battles occurred when you entered into your college years and you started your former acting career, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you just mind sharing a little bit about your story and your past relationship with food and your body?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, I'm sure it won't come as a huge surprise to any of the listeners that, you know, the reason that I'm so passionate about helping women heal their relationships with food and their bodies is because I had such a messed up relationship with food and my body for years. And yeah, it started out just like crash dieting, trying to lose a few pounds, trying to have the perfect body for acting, for dancing, for performing. And it just got way out of hand. And before I knew it, I was living with a full-blown eating disorder. And yeah, 6-7 years of my life that completely consumed, to be honest. And every time a Christmas would come round or a New Year would come round, I would think to myself, I can't believe you're still doing this. I can't believe another year has passed and you've still not fixed this. You've still not been able to win, basically. Because when you've got an eating disorder or you messed up relationship with food, whether that's an eating disorder or not, because the truth is most women have got issues with food in their body, and if you've not ever had any issues around food, or you've never dieted, or you've never wanted to change your body, you're in the minority. That's the truth of it. Most women have got some kind of stuff going on with food in their body, which I've learned over the years. But I thought I was completely alone. And what I've learned from doing this work is actually we're all going through this stuff. We just need to all actually talk about it and communicate and be open about it. So yeah, my issues kind of were, I was all over the place with my food. I was constantly trying to win this battle. And when I finally was able to see the light, as it were, it was totally not the approach that I thought it would be. I was trying to fight it. I was trying to fight to win. And when I got to this weight, or when I figured out my perfect diet, then it would all fall into place. I was completely attacking it with like the completely wrong approach. As you know, darling, it's all about love. It's all about turning up the love. It's all about letting the love in. And how can you expect to get a body that you love unless you start by loving the body that you have? It's not going to work.
Exactly. So when you finally realized you weren't being kind to your body and treating her the way that she so deserved to be treated, how did you eventually end up overcoming that phase and kind of working towards that place of self-love and care?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it started out with a huge commitment to myself, because I started having conversations with my ex about having a baby, about having a family. And so I was like, oh my God, I cannot bring a little girl or boy into the world while I'm doing this to myself. So I was like, that's it. Enough is enough. I really need to get my act together. And I threw away the scales, because I knew that I was so reliant on them. And I was living in a world in my head where gaining a few pounds was like the worst possible thing to ever happen, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that if I wanted a family, if I wanted to get pregnant, I was going to have to deal with that. Like, I was going to have to deal with my body changing and getting big, and, and I knew that I had to overcome that fear, basically. And I also knew that deep down I was so dependent on the scales, I knew that they had to go, basically. It's like breaking an addiction, and I just did it, cold turkey, chucked them out, and it was terrifying. Self-love is not something that just happens overnight. It's a practice like yoga is. It's like a constant practice. It's a constant reinforcement of love and compassion, overriding the hate, overriding the negativity, overriding those punishing thoughts and words. So yeah, that was my first kind of pushing myself over the cliff type thing. And then it was just a real kind of wobbly road, let's say. But I've just constantly been my own cheerleader. That's how I like to think of it. I am my body's best cheerleader, and I abused my body for so many years that I really owe it to her to cheer her on now and really champion her and support her in every way I possibly can. So yeah, the path to recovery, as it were, and by recovery I just mean having a healthy relationship with food in your body, is a daily practice. It really is a daily practice, and it's not something that you just do overnight.
It's very, very fluid. Similar to meditation, there's not one size fits all. It's very much, you start somewhere, you work at it, and you evaluate by how your day-to-day is, kind of where you are in your heart and in your mind, rather than judging yourself for every action that you're doing, right? So it's very, very, very fluid.
I think it's all about crowding it out as well. I talk a lot with food about crowding out. Like, if you want to get healthier and clean up your diet, I talk a lot about crowding out the bad foods. I don't like labeling food, but crowding out less nutritious food with loads more nutritious food. So you're crowding it out. Same thing with like your negative thoughts and patterns. Just when you're crowding out the not nutritious food, crowding it out with loads of great food, eventually your really great food will become your default. It will become what you're used to. It becomes what you love, what you know works for your body. It becomes your new blueprint. Same with how you talk to yourself. if you work at constantly crowding out those negative thoughts with positive affirmations, mantras, I believe in myself, really things that make you feel empowered, sooner or later it's going to become the default setting for you. So you're not going to hear that little negative, nasty voice talking down. It's going to be that default flow of love and abundance.
Couldn't agree with you more. So incredibly true. And I'm so glad that you found that place and, you recovered and you got out of that, hard time in your life, and you've evolved so much. So now that you've healed and, you're looking amazing, you're feeling great, you're feeling good in your own skin, and all these exciting things are occurring in your life. But I mean, with any success, it can get super crazy, right? So how do you continue to make health a priority? Like, what do you do every day? What are your daily habits like? And what's keeping you at this high level of service so you can best serve the ones that you care for?
Oh, that is such a great question. For me, it's eating a lot of food that give me great energy. I know what foods sustain me. I know what foods make my body feel great. So I trust in what I already know. So even if I'm crazy busy and I can't spend ages cooking, or I can't get to the gym every day, or whatever it is, I know what works for me. So I trust in what I already know. That would be like my first thing. Like, I know what foods provide me with energy. I know that even if I've got no food in my house, I can always whip up a smoothie of some sort. I've got those staples. I have a lot of, I get a lot of energy, like a lot, because of the food that I eat. So I need to be out moving my body. Usually I try and move my body every day. It doesn't always happen because life. But when it does, I love getting out and going for a run or going swimming or something like that. Anything that I can fit in, really. So I think when things get super, super busy, it's really important to allow yourself to go with the flow. Totally. When I was really obsessed with all my food and my exercising, and it was really I was really obsessed with it, I had to have a plan in place. And if I didn't go to the plan, everything would be a failure. It would all be a mess. Oh my God. And now I'm realizing, there is no plan. Life doesn't have a structure. Life is messy. So if we can embrace it and go with the flow and be flexible and be forgiving, sometimes you're going to eat out. Get over it. Enjoy it. Sometimes you're not going to have any food to make a meal in your house. Go with the flow. Make it work. It doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It says nothing about you. So that would be my advice.
That's great advice. And I mean, I know you've mentioned a lot too, just on your blog and whatnot with activity, you don't have to set a specific structure, like you said, you don't have to do cardio at the gym 30 minutes and then do weights for 30 minutes. And then, if say you want to do that and then you want to do yoga the next day and then you want to swim the next day, you want to go for a run, you want to do jumping jacks in your living room while watching a drama soap, who cares? Just do it, right? And I think that that's the thing, is restricting these limits is just, it's too much pressure on us, and we need to just be playful with who we are and our activities. So I think that's great advice for sure.
We're constantly putting limits on our food and constantly putting limits on our exercise. I mean, wake up. That means we're constantly putting limits on our lives.
Bingo.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you need rules and structure and you're putting yourself in a box, likelihood is you're probably doing that with every other area of your life as well.
Control. Yeah, absolutely. So obviously a lot of what you teach has to do with loving your body and accepting yourself of who you are, which, like I said, I genuinely admire, because I went through quite a struggle myself in my body, and I would constantly strive for that idealism of perfect. And, I was either a full-blown binge eater or drinker, especially when I was in my college days, when I was feeling really lonely and bummed out, and I was always using food as a self-soothing strategy. But then I would go to the opposite side of the spectrum, and I was obsessed with getting to a goal weight of 120 pounds, and I even got so crazy about it that I even wrote down a Victoria's Secret model's exact measurements of her body, and I aimed for the exact bust, waist, and hip size as her. And you know, what's worse is that once I even finally accomplished that goal and I still wasn't satisfied with my results, I would then, like you said, just, you know, have that restriction and go to the gym for 2+ hours a day, track my macros into an app. You know, I was taking diuretics and weight loss supplements. It was just so controlled because it was the only area of my life that I could control. And really where things began to turn around for me is recently when I actually went to travel Australia. So what ended up happening is all those tools and those quick fixes ended up going out the window. I didn't have my scale with me, and like you said, that was the first step to recovery, is getting rid of that scale and stop validating myself on a number, right? So I got rid of the scale and the weight loss supplements I couldn't bring with me as well, and there was no gym membership, so then everything just started to come more organically. I was meditating every day, I was spending time outside just sightseeing, and that's where I eventually did end up finding love and a good place in my heart. You know, I was feeling confident and sexy, and I genuinely began to love myself from the inside out. And I was, you know, exploring life without boundaries, and I really learned to stop being so hard on myself. So that was sort of my breaking point. Now, what was sort of yours that really changed your perspective about needing to be thin, and why do you feel like this form of work is so important?
I mean, again, I would say that mine was just the importance of how much I wanted to be a parent. And obviously, like that became more of a priority to me than thin ever was. I completely, God, my heart just like skipped a beat when you said about the Victoria's Secret and the numbers. I totally was there as well. I completely get it. It's horrible, and you know what? We think we're so alone, and we think we're the only people doing it. There are so many girls doing this to themselves. Like, what the hell? Even if you ate the exact same thing as another person and trained the exact same way for like years, your body would still not morph into their body. Like, you would still have your body and they would have their body. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's horrible how we do this to ourselves. But yeah, like prioritizing health over thinness is a huge, huge step. When you are able to do this, you know, we forget how smart our bodies are. Our bodies are so wise and so smart, and our bodies know what they need to thrive, and they know how they want to be moved as well. Diet culture has led us to believe that we are useless without some kind of rules and structure and manipulating our bodies and controlling everything. If we actually just let go and surrender, which is what this is all about, surrender, if we actually did this, we would actually form this communication with our bodies, form this inner dialogue, this constant, you know, what do you need right now? How can I support you right now? So when we're constantly supporting our bodies, when we're constantly listening to our bodies, we've actually developed that relationship between our mind and our bodies can do great things because they're so smart. And it's just about believing and trusting in that natural wisdom.
Totally. I agree. That's really what it comes down to, is trusting ourselves again, right?
Exactly. Because when we're dieting, when we're following a plan, following rules, following structure, meal plans, whatever it is, there's no room for listening. There's no room for intuition. There's no room for you, really. There's no room for your soul. It's just like, here are the rules, you follow them. And there's only a matter of time before your body reacts to that and goes, hell no, because that's not natural, that's not organic, that's not what I want to do. So when we can get back into that relationship with our body, listening, you know, all good relationships need trust, listening, love, compassion, acceptance, loyalty. Being loyal to our bodies is a really big one. So yeah, I'm a big believer in feeling like we're in a relationship with our bodies, like our bodies are our friends.
Yeah, exactly. You Google how to be good in a relationship and you can pretty much figure out exactly how to be good to yourself and your body, right? It's the same sort of thing. So do you ever, I mean, I know like we are all human, right? And I mean, is there ever times where that negative self-talk and those food challenges start to creep back in? I mean, we're only human, so do you have those times of weakness where you struggle from time to time? And if so, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, sometimes I have like a little voice that's like, want to talk down to myself or whatever, and I will be able to stop it and go, am I supporting myself every day with my health? Am I supporting myself with my choices? Am I supporting myself with love? The answer is usually yes, 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 and yes. So what more can I do?
Right. Exactly.
What more can I do? You know, if you are constantly supporting yourself, constantly being kind to yourself, what more can you do? Like, you're doing, like, your best is good enough.
Totally, totally. It's not judging your time that you're spending with yourself either, and judging your thoughts, or let it come organically, and just be in the moment and just listen to what it's saying, but question yourself as well.
Completely. And if you are supporting yourself all the time with choices that make your body thrive, with movement that makes your body feel great, then you'll have those negative thoughts less. That's the truth. You know, if you're in a place where you're sabotaging yourself a lot, where you're not listening to your body, because sabotage comes from when you're not actually paying attention and not listening, that's when you're more likely to get more negative feelings, guilt, regret, resentment, hate. You know, if you are supporting yourself and showing up for yourself, then what's not to love?
Totally. Yeah, exactly. It's like you said with the food, right? The more greatness you have, the more you're going to want more of it, and same with the thoughts. So it's just really making sure that you're always having abundant thoughts and abundant, good, healthy food for yourself and your body. Very good. So what I do want to get into now is talking about your new book, The Goddess Revolution. So what does the title of your book, The Goddess Revolution, mean to you, and what's sort of your vision and mission with the new book?
Ooh, well, I love the revolution, because revolution is just, I think, exactly what we're in the middle of. Women ditching diets, women embracing themselves, reclaiming their love for good food, and, you know, really embracing who they are again. Goddess, because I think women deserve to all feel like goddesses. And when you're obsessed with food, thoughts, weight thoughts, punishing thoughts, whatever else thoughts that are negative about food, weight, body image, you do not feel like a goddess. Like, no matter what goal weight you get yourself down to, or whatever you do, you feel like you're constantly judging yourself, you're constantly feeling insecure, feeling like a prisoner in your own body. So that's how I want women to feel about themselves. I want them to set themselves free and reclaim their goddess.
I love that. That is so incredibly powerful. And the second I heard the name, I was just like, it just stuck with me. And like you said, it really is a revolution, and it's totally where we're at, and things are changing. And so I thought it was just brilliant. So it's so good. So what kind of goodness can we find in there? Can you kind of give us more info about the book itself and what's inside?
Yes, of course. So the book is an accumulation of tools, lessons, and mindset shifts that I have learned along the way of healing my relationship with food and my body, and also the women that I've worked with, and what I found to work for the women in my academy, my one-to-one clients. So a lot of the stuff that I teach is all about mindset shifts, and like you said, like turning a negative into a positive, switching things around in your mind, because your mind is literally like the start of everything that happens. Yeah, so if you can train your mind, you can do anything, you can achieve anything. So it's all of that goodness. There's also my personal story in there, and also stories from other women that I've worked with, because everyone's relationship with food is different. Everyone's story around food and body image is different. So I've included I think there's about 15 different short stories from some of the women that I've worked with in there as well. Just to kind of give a real broad spectrum of the kind of stuff that us women put ourselves through.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I love that you have different perspectives in there as well, and just kind of another example as to how there's so many of us going through this, and so many of us suffering in silence. And I love that you're just kind of shining a light on that, and just saying, hey, look, it's not just me, it's all these amazing, incredible women also. And it just kind of opens the stage for women to kind of explore and start to tell their stories a little bit more, and not feel so guilty and bad about it, or even just realize that, perfection isn't something that is achievable, and maybe that's not the route to go. So I think that's incredible that you've kind of set that stage for everybody. So amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on my copy of the pre-ordered books that I've ordered. So what is the biggest takeaway that you want people to have from your work and from the book? I mean, I know just from exploring, who you are and what you do and how I've sort of watched you evolve over time, I know that it genuinely always starts and ends with love. But what is your biggest takeaway that you want people to have when they're done reading or done working with you?
Oh, wow, what a juicy question. Juicy question. Oh gosh, there's a few. How can I pick? I want women, this is what I want. I want women to take back their power around food and take back their power around their body, because we are, what I see is women latching on and clinging to people for advice and clinging to people for rules and clinging to the latest nutrition expert or the latest book or the latest blogger or whatever. Give me all the rules. Tell me what to do, please. And it's like, you have the power. Take back your power. You make the rules. You're the expert of your body. No one else is. You're the expert of your food. Take back your power, girl. That's what I want to say.
I love it, girl power. It's freaking awesome. So incredibly true. So incredibly true and powerful. And I'm just, oh my gosh, I just love you. I just love you. So to grab these books, I know you have some pretty incredible giveaways going on right now as you pre-order. First of all, when is the launch of your book date?
The launch is Tuesday the 7th of June, which is like a week today.
It is so soon. It's exactly a week. Oh my gosh, very, very exciting. So how can the girls get their hands on these bonuses? And can you tell them more about the bonuses as well? Because they're pretty fantastic.
I absolutely can. So if you pre-order a book and then put your order number in on my website, which is thegreengoddesslife.com/pre-order. If you pre-order one book, you'll get a free guide to healing your relationship with food, like an ebook that I have. You'll also get an ebook of my favorite healthy recipes, and also a starter kit for the Goddess Way, a Goddess starter kit. So that's all like digital bonuses. Oh, and there's also a diet detox course. So like a detox from diet. So basically dieting from diets. If like it's stuck in the diet mentality still. If you pre-order 3, then you get entered into a competition. You get all those goodies first, and then you get entered into a competition to win a spot on my retreat in Bali this summer. Yes.
So awesome. And I'm going to be posting the link below the interview so that way anyone can access the pre-orders of those. But yeah, I mean, it's coming so soon. It's a week away, so it's going to be here before you know it.
Crazy.
So you must be just pumped. How are you celebrating? I want to know how you're celebrating the launch of your book.
We're having a big party in London, like a big press launch party thing. Which is going to be big.
Oh yeah.
I've not finished organising it yet, but it's going to be here before I know it. So that'll be really cool. I've got a lot of friends and family coming and
that's
other people. Yeah.
I'm so glad you're celebrating because you so deserve it.
Thank you.
So seriously, Mel, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here today. You are a true light in my life, and I'm so excited to get my copy of The Goddess Revolution in my hands. And I'm going to continue to be a supporter and lover of all the beautiful work that you're putting into the world. And I so hope that our paths will cross one day. Yes. But until then, rock on, Goddess.
Thanks so much.
You're so welcome.
Bye, darling. Bye.
Bye.